and welcome to this edition of Between the Lines. We are joined by Fond du Lac resident and mountaineer Andy Land on Mount Everest. And Andy, it's great to hear your voice. How are you doing?
It's good to hear yours too.
How are you doing, Andy, physically and mentally?
Physically, I'm doing well. It's pretty cold here right now. I'm looking forward to getting off the mountain and getting home at this point, but that may take as long as a couple of weeks. Nepal is pretty devastated from this earthquake, and just getting to Kathmandu from Everest Base Camp is going to be a real challenge.
So you're at base camp?
I'm looking at, the mountain is covered in fog, but I'm at the Khumbu Ice Fall right now.
All right. Okay. Explain what happened on Saturday. When did you realize something was happening?
Well, we were up at Camp 1, which is above the Khumbu Ice Fall at about 20,000 feet, and it was about noon. We were in a whiteout. Really couldn't see anything, but we're on a glacier surrounded by crevasses, and all of a sudden the earth just started shaking. We were thinking at first this was going to be the mother of all avalanches, and basically you just sit in your tent and wait for it to hit you. We could hear avalanches roaring on all sides around us. No place to run, no place to hide. We didn't get hit by the avalanches. From them just battered our tents, but we were okay. It wasn't until about 3 hours later we learned that the earthquake had caused an avalanche that just tore through base camp. It really looks like a tornado. There were both kind of land debris shot out hundreds of feet onto the glacier. It's just an incredibly devastated view right here.
So you weren't hit by the avalanche, but you're trapped at Camp 1. Were you still thinking, how and what are we going to do?
Because to get to Camp 1, you have to go through the Khumbu Ice Fall, which the glacier moves about 2 to 3 feet a day anyway. It's a really kind of hazardous route. And the earthquake significantly altered the route, so we say. And a group of guides went down into the ice fall to try to reestablish some route the next morning, and a second, it was probably an aftershock, hit when they were in the ice fall. So it became apparent that we were not going to get off the mountain by going through the ice fall. The only way that people who are on the mountain would be evacuated is by helicopter.
All right, and Sunday the weather broke, and the helicopter. When you saw the helicopter, what did you do?
Well, we were really lucky. So the first day after the earthquake, the helicopters were totally focused on getting the injured and those fatally injured out of base camp. So the second day, we were told to basically be ready at first light if the weather was clear. And so I was one of the first people kind of up in the queue, and I had to basically sprint at 20,000 feet to get to the helicopter. So it was, all I could do to just make it there. And then this ride down the Khumbu Ice Fall, which took us about 6 hours to climb up, took the helicopter about 3 minutes to get down. There were at least 70 helicopter flights that morning, and everybody was off mountain by noon or so.
All right, so were you thinking at that point everything is? You're still up on the mountain. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm still on the mountain, and a long, long way from being home. And yes, I have been thinking about my family, and my wife knew that above base camp there was no way I could communicate with her. So she knew that ahead of time, but still not knowing where I was or how I was doing after she heard all the things about the earthquake and avalanche in base camp, they were naturally quite worried. So I was relieved when I was able to get in touch with them yesterday. And then there have been so many people that have been supporting me through the Climbing for Hospice Facebook page. And I wanted to, the first opportunity I had to get internet, which is not an easy thing to do at Everest Base Camp, to post something to let people know that I was okay and to thank them for their support. But I'm still a long way from home.
Right. So do you trek down the mountain from this point?
Yeah.
And how dangerous? I mean, that's dangerous, isn't it?
Base camp was the campus is about 17,000 square feet up, and we're going to trek for the next 3 days or so to get to a little town called Lukla, which is about 7,000 feet, and hopefully then we'll be able to get a flight to Kathmandu. But from what I'm hearing, that's going to be a long shot. There are some international flights leaving Kathmandu Airport, but there are really no domestic flights. So if that situation doesn't change, we've even heard that the Nepalese government has commandeered helicopter services, so you really can't even fly via helicopter to Kathmandu anymore. So I don't know how much has media about the earthquake, the devastation in Kathmandu, but what we've heard is that the Kathmandu basically moved like 12 feet. So there's no running water. Hundreds of thousands of people are homeless. I'm not sure how many fatalities, but pretty much a crisis in this country right now. What
before this happened, before the earthquake, what was it like to be on, and what is it like to be on Mount Everest?
Well, the earthquake was the scariest thing I've ever been through in my life. Basically just sitting in the tent waiting for it to hit you and you to die. And what it's like being on Mount Everest, it took weeks just to get here, Greg, and it's just the most incredibly beautiful country it's hard to describe. Being in Wisconsin, there's just no words for this. It's also very, very cold. It's a very, very challenging mountain. It would have taken everything I had to be able to have a shot to get to the summit. I'm sure it's a one-shot thing. I'll never be back here. And so there's a lot of disappointment, a lot of heartache for all the people who lost their lives and the tragedy that occurred here. It's an incredible experience to be here. I'm very fortunate to be able to have made this attempt, and especially doing it and trying to increase awareness about the need for better end-of-life care.
So, would you ever go back?
Well, in case my wife is listening, the answer to that is no. It's it's something I would really need to consider. And if you have something like this, I need to sometimes to decompress. I've been through a lot. This is like a war zone here on these camps, like the Oakfield tornado. I mean, everybody is just shell shocked, and so right now the answer to that would be no. But the opportunity to beyond the world's tallest mountain is an incredible opportunity, and not something that comes along every day.
So, when the earthquake happened and the avalanche occurred, had you made peace with what was happening? Did you think you were going to die?
Yes. So the first and only three guys, that's kind of a mad explosion. Huge sort of chunks of ice the size of houses hanging and all kinds of ways that defy gravity. Those could move at any point. But when we were in our tents at 20,000 feet and the earthquake hit, we didn't know it was an earthquake at first. We just thought it was a huge avalanche, so big that it just was shaking the glacier, and we could hear them coming from all sides. And we thought we were going to die. And then it was, I don't know, maybe 20 seconds of shaking, a huge wind on each side from kind of.
Were you thinking about your family at that time?
I was my first thought is, can I run? I tried to get out of the tent and didn't even have my boots on, and of course there was really no place to go. On a glacier covered by crevasses, and so I don't know that I had enough time to really think about anything consciously. I've thought a lot about, of course, my participation and maybe into the ice wall for a time. So I don't know that I had enough time to really process anything at that point.
So you have no idea when you're going to be home at this point?
I think it's going to take at least a couple of weeks. No, I don't.
Okay.
I really don't. I'd like tomorrow, but it's probably going to take quite a while to just, if we have to walk to Kathmandu, that's going to take us about 15 days just to get to Kathmandu if we have to walk.
Wow. Okay.
But hopefully we don't.
When you get to the bottom of the mountain, can you call me back and let me know that everything is okay?
Sure. I mean, I can, assuming that there's some cell phone coverage. From what I hear, the whole Khumbu region is just devastated. There's no power, there's no water. So what we're doing, and when we're in our trek down, Greg, we're taking everything that we need. So water, food, cooking availability, tents. So we're going to be camping all the way down, as if we will have no support whatsoever. So if there is electricity or there's cell phone reception and I can make a call, I'll be happy to do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's great to hear your voice. I'm so happy that you're okay. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. And
Thank you.
We just want you. We want you home. we want
I'll
you.
try to give you a call as soon as I can.
All right, Andy. Thanks for calling. Man, what a great phone call to get. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, Everest Base Camp. How about that? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. Thanks, Craig.
Yep. Bye-bye.